Welcome back to Guardians Reborn. Today we will be looking at a combat example. I'm using the one that is in the instruction manual because it actually has quite a bit of different mechanics and different things you will see regularly in a match of Guardians. So we have the two sides of the board set up. The bottom part is Homer, the top part is Marge. The Simpsons references are awesome, so let's just go with it. First, before primary matchups begin, both sides decide if they're going to play a command card. Marge says no, Homer says, yeah, sure. He plays a sorcerer. Sorcerer, the commandability, it looks like a C with a lightning bolt through it. This is a 4-point AoE fireball. So what this does is Marge now has to look at her combat hand, which is all the creatures that were under her shield, plus any spells that she had, and she has to discard any creatures with a vitality of 4 or less. So there's actually two cards that this hits. The Babe Hound with a vitality of 2, and the Water Sprout with a vitality of 4. Both of these are removed from combat, they're removed from the shield, and immediately put in the discard pile. Since that is the only effect that happens with this command card, Marge does not have a command card, we move to primary matchups. Marge's first card is an Angel with a vitality of 7 and an off-color bonus of 0 for externals, which are black. Homer plays a Mule of vitality 2, off-color bonus of 0. Now, this is for elementals, which is what the Angel is, but it has a 0, so it doesn't get anything. 2 versus 7, the 7 obviously wins. The next round of primary matchups, we have Homer plays an Energy Toad, a Vitality 5, and Marge plays an Ice Spirit, a Vitality 5. This is called a push. It's a tie. They both live. But Homer has a Varmint Archer with a 1-point ranged attack. In real life, this would be played at a 45-degree angle to indicate ranged attack, but since Lackey won't do that, we just have to put it side by side. And we add the 5 vitality plus the 1 ranged attack, so this is a total of 6 coming across to the Ice Spirit. The Varmint Archer is considered a modifier, and what that is, all modifiers are removed once primary attacks are declared. We'll get to that in a moment. Right now, we are concerned about a 6 versus a 5, so the Energy Toad defeats the Ice Spirit. The next round, Marge plays a Gribus, with a vitality 6, off-color bonus of 2. Homer just plays Death. So, Death says destroys any mortal affected by fear. Every creature is affected by everything unless it specifically states that it's immune to it. This white border around Gribus means that it is indeed a mortal. So while Gribus has a off-color bonus of 2 versus elementals, it doesn't matter because Death will destroy any mortal affected by fear. Now this icon here of the beer stein means that you can bribe Death with beer, tell him to go away, go home, he's drunk. Well, Marge just happens to have a beer bribery. Death says, okay, cool. Takes the beer and goes to the creature pen. Creature pen during gameplay is the creatures under your guardian that you cannot touch until your draw and organize phase. So this is discarded. Now, Marge has 1 extra creature and Homer has none left. So this is where secondary attacks come in. She decides to use this Wind Spirit, Vitality 5, against the Energy Toad. With secondary attacks, you would take the base vitality of the primary attacker, which in case is 5, and add its own vitality, which the wind spirit is 5 as well, so it's a 10, versus the energy toad's 5. We do not count the varmint archer anymore because he was a ranged attack, which counts as a modifier. So we have a 10 versus a 5. The energy toad is discarded. So now we look at what creatures are left. So we remove all creatures that were defeated from the field. This ice spirit, even though we won with the wind spirit, was defeated in the primary matchup, so it goes to the discard. The mule gets discarded. So we have the varmint archer and the sorcerer. Now both of these, if you wanted to, could have been bribed. When Homer played the sorcerer with the gold icon, as soon as it was played, before you did the 4-point AoE, you could have bribed him with gold to go to the creature pen. You could have also bribed the varmint archer with gold to not do that 1-point ranged attack. You have to play briberies the moment the creature is revealed before any other modifiers. So right now we have a 8 and a 2 is a 10, a 6, a 7, and a 5 is an 18. So Marge wins this combat. If Marge was on the attack, Homer would have to take these two creatures, put them under his shield, and retreat to one friendly space that is one spot adjacent to where he is. If he's unable to retreat, the shield is destroyed, your opponent gets it as a trophy, and the creatures are discarded. Now, if Homer was on the attack and Marge is on the defense, Homer would just have to retreat to the space he just came from, assuming it's still a valid target. Now, there is another aspect to secondary attacks to look at. Let me pull these back out. We have this and our energy toad. So let's look at this scenario one more time. We have the energy toad 5, varmint archer range attack of 1, and the ice spirit. Okay, as we saw, this 6 defeats that 5. There are cards like Eater of the Dead. This is a command card. There are other things that say this. But with Eater of the Dead as a command ability, all creatures on both sides beaten during primary attacks are destroyed. Destroyed is a very important thing because what it does is the creature is immediately discarded, but it does not hang around for secondary attacks. It does not hang around for anything else. So in this situation here, where the energy toad and the ice spirit were tied, where there was a push here, and the varmint archer helped swing the tide, and the ice spirit was defeated, he would immediately go to the discard pile, and that would leave both the energy toad and the varmint archer open when Marge comes in for her secondary attack. No longer will she have the 5 vitality from the ice spirit to help build enough to kill the energy toad, because this would result in a push. And this does not, since this is a red bar, it cannot receive channeling. So that changes this combat, because then the secondary attack will be against the varmint archer. This goes to the discard because it was destroyed. And we can, so the varmint archer is destroyed. But now we have the energy toad as part of our surviving creatures. Now this is still only a 13 versus an 18, but as you can see, the difference in destroying that secondary attacker changed it by a 3-point swing for the total vitality, because your varmint archer was only giving you 2 and the energy toad is giving you 5 because the wind spirit just could not. It could have done a push and then the varmint archer would have lived, so that wouldn't have made any sense to do, because that actually would have been, what is that, 12, 14 versus 18, so it still wouldn't have gone through as a victory, but you would still have these abilities available to you. You can only play one command card per combat, so you would not be able to do the 4-point AoE and the Eater of the Dead. But you could play the Eater of the Dead and then play him as just as a Vitality 8 creature, bribable by gold, and can receive channeling. So all these moving pieces are part of what makes combat fun in this game. There are other aspects to combat that I will go over later. I just want to give these short little pieces of the game to hopefully quickly review and get you more motivated, more comfortable playing the game. Obviously, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good evening.